Yo, I am hyphen X, man. Welcome to the SideBar Conversation, man. Everybody tune in. We got something to say. Everybody tune in. Welcome to our SideBar Conversation, man. This is our Facebook and YouTube show. We are live. If you are watching this right now, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. Go ahead and share this, man. Go ahead and share this. Today, we're going to be talking about, does the state value us as parents? That's what we're talking about today. Yo, how y'all doing, man? Go ahead and drop a one comment section. Let me know that you hear it. Today we talking about, does the state value us as parents, man? Crazy stat I looked up. There's a crazy stat I decided to look up. Because SideBar Conversations we don't really have that much structure and whatnot. But I just looked at a little stat, and it was like 62% of all DCFS cases in the state of Illinois are African American. What is going on? What is happening? What's the business? What does that mean? Does the state value us as parents? See who we got up in here. What's going on, Dominic? What's going on, Deja? Does the state value us as parents? Now, as you guys know, that our SideBar Conversations is where we talk to you, our listeners. I will put in the link a little bit later, but we in particular whisper for this one. And very rarely when we get a whisper, does that person want to come on the show. So I don't necessarily want to tell her story. I'm going to let her tell her story. But right now, before I bring this young lady on, the question is, does the state value us as parents? 62%. 62, that's over half. 62% of all DCFS cases in the state of Illinois, African American. What's the word? What's going on, B-Facts? What's the business? What is going on? Are African Americans unfit parents deemed by the state? And then who is the state to say that? Go ahead, share this live. Go ahead, let me know once you share the live. Go ahead, share this live. We got to get this out. This is our SideBar Conversation. We got a whisper, and the whisperer is in the building. She's going to tell her own story. This is something. Because when this story, I was like, no, you lying. I know you not saying what I think you saying. I know they did not just do that. This is all the things that was going on in my brain as I'm listening to this situation. I'm going to stop calling it a story. It's a situation. A whole situation is going on. This is the SideBar Conversation, man. I am hyphen X, man. This is what we talk to you, our listeners, man. We got a whisper. If you guys ever have anything that you guys want us to talk about, man, you can shoot inbox. You guys can hit us on the email at greatconversationletstalk@gmail.com. But it's definitely going down. Give me one moment here. And we about to get this thing crack-a-lacking. So, does the state value us as parents? 62% of DCFS cases, African American. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Harper. Hey, Amber.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for reaching out and allowing us to be a part of the story here to know what's going on. Tell look. Let's start here. Let's start here. Where are you?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, but I'm
Okay,
placed in
and
Rockford,
where are you
Illinois.
located now?
Rockford, Illinois.
So she's here in Rockford, Illinois. Amber, I'm gonna set the microphone. I'm gonna allow us. Why did you reach out to our show? And what did you want to? What do you want the world to know?
I reached out to you because I have been a victim of the system for a long time now. My oldest daughter got adopted. Then my middle child got snatched because of a fist fight that I couldn't control. And the police fabricated the situation. And the person that I had a fist fight with called the hotline and fabricated the situation. And now this case has been going on for 2 years. And now my newborn son has been snatched into this mess. And my son is in a distress situation because he has jaundice. And now the state is not trying to let me be part of my son's life at all. I can't hear you. The sound went out.
How old? How old are the children?
My oldest is 9, my middle child is 6, and my newborn son is 7 days old.
7 days old. And based off the story you told, they came in, they snatched your child away from you at 2 hours.
No, the second day. Day 2 of me laying in the
Oh, I'm
hospital
sorry.
bed
Day 2.
after my cesarean.
Day 2. After a C-section, day 2, they come in and they snatch your child. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's talk about what led the police to be called to your home, that incident first. Let's talk about that.
I just moved up here, and the young lady that stayed next door to me, I befriended her, and she had a DCFS situation herself, and I didn't know until she carried a dead child, which opened up a door that I couldn't shut. And when I tried to continue the relationship with this young lady, me and her ended up in a fist fight. Come to find out, she was the reason why I originally got arrested off of order of protection that I didn't know nothing about. Then she turned around and fought me and called the police and turned around and called the department and fabricated the entire fight. So that's what gave the police the opportunity to come bothering me.
When you say fabricated the fight, what did she lie about?
She said I physically attacked her. She attacked me by pulling my hair and she hit me in my lip. I have this lip ring as my proof of a memory of where I got socked in the lip at. My mouth was leaking blood. And I had no choice but to fight back in self-defense. But Rockford said there is no self-defense up here. Whoever calls the police first is what the police come to. And that's not how it should be.
Wow. And she came to your home?
We were in the courtyard when we got into this fist fight. I hadn't even made it home yet.
Okay.
I was in
So she
Blackhawks
calls the
at the
police.
time.
She calls the police. She lies to the police. She tells the police that you attacked her, and then this what leads them to take away your child.
Yes, because she said that my child was on the scene. My child was at the school.
So she said that your child was there, but your child was at school, and they went ahead and they believed.
Yes, they never investigated my case.
Now, they never investigate. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to say if your child was at school, there would be some type that your child was at school.
They never went to the
right?
school to talk to the school. Yes.
Wow. So they just went ahead and they just took her word on it. So the bells have been
Yes. And while
rung
I was
for a
incarcerated,
DCFS case.
yes.
Go ahead. You said why you were incarcerated.
While I was incarcerated, the investigator didn't investigate my case. And in my service plan, it clearly states that they didn't investigate my case, that I was incarcerated. And when I got out, they still didn't investigate my case. I was incarcerated in Winnebago County for 5 days, and they did not sit there and come and discuss the situation that got brought to their attention.
Wow. So
It
what
took me to
did
do my
they release you on
service
your own
appeal.
recognizance?
No, I had to be
Oh,
bonded
okay.
out. My mother from Chicago drove up here to get me.
So they
The
had to get that
police made
bread.
it so bad that police made it so bad that the charge that held me was resisting arrest. But the thing of it was, I didn't resist arrest. The officer never said I was under arrest. He barged
Right.
into private property where I was after I picked up my daughter.
And just grabbed you.
The police are the ones. No, they sat there and they barged in the home. They knocked my legally blind grandmother-in-law up against her door, and they attacked me in her home. I was snatched and grabbed by two male officers. No female officer was never called to the scene. So two male officers apprehended me, and he drugged me by my foot. Then he drugged me down the stairs of my grandmother's porch, and he put his foot in my back. I don't understand how I could physically kick him, and he had me by my foot. For arrest, he sat there and said I kicked him in the nuts. So I got charged with an aggravated on a police. It was a felony at first, which changed to a misdemeanor because they had no proper evidence. There was no video footage to support what the officer was saying.
This I'm hearing far too often on how the Rockford Police Department abuses their power and with unlawful authority. I'm hearing it
Exactly.
far too often. Now, what do you know? Do you know the officer's name?
Yes, Ryan Fleming.
Ryan Fleming barged into your home, knocked around your legally blind grandmother, and you out by your and fabricated a story about you kicking him in the testicles, and they held you for 5 days until your mother. It never came to talk about you until your mother from Chicago had to come and bail you out.
Yes.
So in an
Not only that, my
uninvestigated case,
grandmother,
your child. Go ahead.
my legally blind grandmother was arrested too. And they said that she was resisting arrest and that
What?
she was complicating my arrest. They said that I forgot what terms they used. Oh, she was obstructing justice against me. She didn't even know what was going on. We were both standing in the doorway when the police came to the home, and they were trying to talk to us. It went from talking to he just barged into the home, knocked her up against the door. She hit the door, and they was rummaging me across the house. She kept yelling, "Do not tear up my house. Do not tear up my house." Then they turned around and arrested her. She was released the same night because the department, once she got there, was trying to figure out why she was there. But I got held because of the charge that the police officer put on me. Otherwise, I would have been released on my own recognizance.
There's no law. It's about what the police has, what they say. Now that we see, maybe guys, to the sidebar conversation. I am -X man. I've got Amber Harper here. We just talked about how the police just did an unlawful arrest with no investigation and held her for 5 days. knocked around her legally blind grandmother, arrested her. This is the same police department that arrested a support dog. About that, so it's not too far out of their realm of doing pettiness. So I do see that we have someone in the studio here, a Lamar. I'm going to bring Lamar on just real quick to see what Lamar has to say, and then we're going to talk about the other layer to this. We're going to talk about social services and the DCFS. Give me one moment here.
Hello, how you doing?
Lamar, what's going on, bro?
Oh, pretty good. Just living, trying to take it day by day.
I hear you, bro. Go ahead, spit your piece, man. Tell us who you are and what you got to say about this situation.
Well, I'm the father of Miss Harper's newborn, and the newborn son that was
great. I love this.
Right. Yeah, I have to support her in every fashion of what she's doing. So, So my part in this is I'm a person that's never had a DCFS case, a person that's never been in. I mean, I've had my run-ins in my past, but I've been criminal free for over 5-6 years now. I'm a working man. I work every day. I go to work. I provide for my family. Well, I was told in the hospital that because of Miss Harper's case, I'm an unfit parent. And my child was not supposed to be in my custody. Wait a minute. How is that case? Well, I've never had a DCFS case in my life. How is that if I have done nothing in this situation to cause warrant for you to take him from me? Forget about whatever they have going on with her. What about me? But DCFS told me, "Oh, we don't know anything about you."
That's very bizarre.
Right.
We don't know. That's very bizarre. I hate to cut you off, Lamar, but I have to say this. Like, how I don't understand. How do you if you're not the one in trouble, right? If you're not the one in the trouble, why do you have to prove that you're a fit parent? If you have nothing dealing with anything like that, it's the hurdles. That brings us back to our question: does the state value us as parents?
Right.
Here's a whole situation. I didn't even know my man was coming on. I love that this just happened, because here's a situation where a mother and a father had the child away from them, okay, away, without their acknowledgement, being told that you have to prove yourself worthy.
Right.
How and why? That's why a child has two parents. So if something happens to one parent, the other parent can cover it.
Who is the state to tell us how to be a parent?
The state wants to parent our children. Well, yeah, as long as no harm or abuse coming towards the
state
child.
wants our children's money. That's what they want.
Exactly, because they worth something.
Exactly. Now,
because they worth something, man.
As far as up until he was born, I was supposed to be put involved in all case matters. The caseworker, or lack thereof of a better word for her, the caseworker stated, "Oh yes, we will be getting in contact with you and your mother so that you guys can have a proper background check." I'm fine. I'm fine with doing anything you ask me to do for my child, so you do not come and remove him from me. She said, "Oh yes, we will contact you." The woman never contacted me, not one time, but then claims, "Oh, I've called you and you didn't answer your phone." Isn't it proper procedure from a state agency that if a person doesn't answer a phone, you leave a message on his voicemail so he can return the call at a later time? There was no voicemail ever left on my phone. So that case, there was no call ever made because you didn't follow proper protocol. This woman coerced Miss Harper into signing a confidentiality paper so that she can get into her affairs. And when that happened, the day of her having this child, we were on the elevator going to the delivery room. This is when I get a call from the caseworker saying, oh, we're going to run your stuff now. That's because you already knew we were in the hospital, because when you coerced her into signing the paper, it gave you access to her medical records. Now you know the date that she's scheduled to go in for this C-section. You didn't know this at first until you coerced it, and then lied to include the father, the presumed father, into this situation. Never did it until the day you were ready to take this child. If I'm a part of this case, why do you not give me the proper time to fight?
Because to a state, a father doesn't exist unless he's being ordered to do something by the court. So that is that, man. Listen, guys, this is SideBar Conversation, man. I am -X. I got Amber and Lamar, and they have their child snatched from them by the state. You know, you're hearing, you say, hey guys, you guys can turn down if you're listening somewhere else. Just turn it down. I'm gonna throw y'all on mute just real quick. Got a little feedback. All right, there we go. All right, so guys, we're sitting here and we're talking about, does the state value us as parents? Guys, chime in our comment section right now. If you had an issue with DCFS, we're seeing where police officers can fabricate a story to destroy a family. So Officer Fleming is being accused of fabricating his story. Okay, he's being fabricating his story about the incidents that occurred. She was in there for 5 days. They arrested her legally blind grandmother, fabricated that story. Her daughter's now inside of a DCFS. Her DCFS caseworker lied to her, made her believe that something was going to happen when something else happened, and got her child 7 days old. 2 days after, gone. Now the baby is fighting jaundice, fighting for survival. And Ms. Harper is saying that the agency is at fault for that, which would be technically true because the baby is now in their care. So I'm going to bring Ms. Harper back on because I do have some other questions that I would like to ask. So you said no children were at home at the time of the incident. Now, at any time, because you say you had her that is adopted, that's the 9-year-old. She's out of the home and with an adopted family. The 6-year-old is the one who got removed from you from the line, from the fabrication, from the fight in Black Hawk. And now you have the baby of 7 days who was taken away. I want to talk about that case, that particular case. But before I do, let me ask a question about the 6-year-old. At any time, did the state lead you to believe that they wanted you to gain custody back?
Yes, my caseworker came to my house the week prior to me going into the hospital, and she C-wrapped my home. She said my home was safe and appropriate for both of my children. And before she darkened my door, she clearly stated, can you please just call me? I just need to know that you had the baby, or you don't have to. And I just looked at her. I said, can I please just have time with my son before you decide to make a drastic decision that could affect his life? And she blatantly lied to me. She had a parent-child visit in Chicago with my daughter, with the father on that case, Mr. Harper. And his visit got canceled because she told him that it was an emergency, and the emergency was me. She came directly to me. But instead of you doing your part and giving the father his child parent visit, you came and you snatched my unborn child out of my custody. I had my daughter, my 6-year-old, for 4 long years before they intervened. Rockford did not have any type of authority until they made Chicago, Cook County, let go of my case. My case was getting ready to be closed. But when Rockford got in the middle of it, that's when everything changed. They were not happy that I had my child in my care.
So you feel as if
I was under a court order.
Why do you believe they weren't happy that your child was in your care?
Because they kept bringing me to court. They kept trying to get the judge to move the child out of my care. And Judge Martinez clearly said, I do not have jurisdiction. Cook County has full jurisdiction. My daughter was wrongfully taken from me the first time because of the order of protection that a young lady had on me. And she lied and sat there and said I violated it. So Cook County returned my daughter to me because he said a law was passed that if my child was not abused or neglected, he had no purpose of keeping her in the system. So he returned her to me under a court order. The court order only stipulated that I could not allow the father to see the child because the father had disappeared out of court. He was not coming to court like he was supposed to. So they gave him a stipulation to come back to court, and he didn't. He disappeared for a year. He's just now back on the case now that my new child has been brought forth. Not only that, I have a technical difficulty with that because I'm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What you got? You said you have a difficulty with that?
I have a technical difficulty because I'm still legally married to my other child's father. And because legally married to him, it's an Illinois law that he was supposed to be put on the birth certificate. So now he has to be brought forth to court to recuse himself because the child is not his. The child belongs to Lamar. So we have a court date set up tomorrow for both the fathers to come forth.
That should be interesting. Let me ask this question. Now, when you get involved with the state, the court system, they have you complete classes, things of that nature. Have you completed those?
I have completed classes numerous times, and the agency has discarded my information on purpose. That's why we have a problem now, because my service plan is not up to date with what's going on right now. My caseworker has me under, I'm homeless, and I have no place to stay, and I have nothing. But she clearly came to my home and C-wrapped my home. Every part of my paperwork says that I'm homeless, and I'm not understanding how could I be homeless, but I have been rehoused since December 8th of 2020. But if she had did her proper job and went and put into paperwork that I'm housed and everything is appropriate for me and I've done my services, my children will be at home right now. But for the sake of the caseworker does not want to sit there and understand and give me the credit that I deserve from a drastic situation to now and give me I have changed. Not only that, I have providers from Rosecrans that they are trying to discredit that I have changed. But they feel what they feel. I have entitlement to be angry for this situation for the simple fact that my children have nothing to do with this. My children should not be displaced from their mother, especially put into a home where somebody who sit there and doesn't know my child and doesn't know how to provide for her. Just like for my son has a disease that needs to be properly looked at. And not once has my caseworker paid attention since my son has been put into custody. So I have no choice, but now I have two children's lives that are at stake. My oldest daughter and my youngest daughter have been placed together.
Oh, your oldest, they got them in the same home.
Yes.
We all about how the system breaks. We talk about Willie Lynch a lot, right? We talk about the Willie Lynch syndrome and how it's to destroy the black family. It is 2021 and we're still seeing it being exercised. I have dropped the link in the comments below of anybody else who wants to hop on here. And what's one is, does the state value us as parents? And then I'm gonna challenge you to give me a why. I'm gonna bring Lamar back, the father of the young child who was taken by the system 2 days removed from the womb.
Hello. Sorry, my phone had died. I had to reboot.
All right, Lamar, welcome back. Now, Lamar, like I've seen, like, how do you feel as the father and not being really involved in the process? Being neglected. I'm not going to say involved. I'm going to say in being neglected in the process.
I was devastated by it because this is the reason that you're taking my child, because you know nothing about me. Well, you had your own opportunity to get to know me beyond the number of a social security number and a background check. You had the opportunity. I gave it to you. I gave you the open floor. And you lied and said you contacted me when you haven't. You said you've done this and that as far as, and then you lied even more in her case, in Miss Harper's case plan. You said I'm living with her, but at the same time, how am I living with her when she's homeless? You lied and said I live with her, where even though I have my name on a whole other lease and I have keys to a whole other apartment, but you lied on the paper, said I live with her. I'm staying in her city funded apartment without being able to. But how are you saying this? And it's like it's constant lie after lie after lie.
They're able to just constantly contradict themselves without repercussion. Right. What would you say? I'm going to say this to you guys, right? I'm going to say this. What would you say if people are like, you know, you're waiting on them to call you? You should be beating down their door because these are your kids, and you should be doing everything in your power to fight back. What do you say to that?
Yes. But when you do that, then you're villainized. Then you say you're combative. And then they say you're not working with them.
Yep. Uncooperative.
Yes.
So right now, guys, I'm reaching out right now, guys. I'm reaching out to the Great Conversation family. I'm reaching out to all our listeners right now. If you are in a position to offer opportunity, if you're in a position to offer some type of assistance, some type of guidance on what's going on with this particular situation, guys, inbox us. I'll get you in contact with them. You guys see them on here, reach to them, drop it in the comment. I want to talk back to you guys, to our listeners. Let us know, do you believe that our state, the state of Illinois, or our government, period, values us as parents? 62% of all DCFS cases in the state of Illinois are African American. They're saying that the number one charge is neglect. That is what it is. The number one charge is neglect. So are Black parents unfit? And why does the state want our children? That's what we're talking about. Also, very interesting here is that the disregard for the father. Lamar was not involved in any police report. Lamar was not involved in any incident involving children, and the mother had, the father can't step in his rightful place and take over the raising of his other child, the responsibility. The fuck is that? What is that? Like, what is that? And what sense does that make? Talk back to us, guys. If this, man, right now, guys, I want you guys to say what you guys need to say to the people. What kind of resources are you looking for? Like, you guys got a court date tomorrow. I'm going to give the floor to you guys. Go right ahead.
Go ahead, Amber.
I don't think really any resources. The fact that you do your services, then the state wants to put their nose in it. And they change what the provider has set on already. You have to accept the fact that people change. Don't nobody remain the same and stay in the same boat forever. But if you have somebody that's sabotaging you, which I do, I'm never going to grow. I'm never going to be seen in my true light that I am a very good parent that fell short to the system. Not only that, but this is my life being relived all over again. I was snatched from my mother, and my mother died trying to get us back.
You
I have to live with that on my 14 years that I don't have a mom. Take that from my children.
I don't know if everyone.
I have children in this world that have been neglected by the state. And they feel that their mother doesn't love or care because the state.
Hold on, Amber. I'm gonna ask you to disconnect.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna remove you. Disconnect and come back, okay? I'm gonna have her disconnect and come back. I think that was very interesting when she said that. When she said that this is her really her childhood all over. Question, bro. Tell me about your upbringing. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
do you come from a two parent home?
No, I'm not from it. I'm originally from California, so ours is a little different, but it's pretty much the same state to state and countrywide of how DCFS or CPS, as we call it, interrupts people's families. It happened to me with my first child, and I grew up in a household where my mother wasn't really there because of criminal cases. You know, she was in prison a lot. I was just lucky enough never to formally be in the system. Now, I was bounced around from family member to family member, but I was never in actual CPS custody, Child Protective Services. So, but my oldest son, I didn't even know I was a father. The woman who I was dealing with we split she was 3 months pregnant. She told me she aborted the baby and all that. So I went on with my life. One day, I get a letter in the mail saying that you may be the father of a child that's in CPS custody, and we need you to come and identify yourself. I did everything they asked me to do. And then all of a sudden, the state of California started refiling old criminal charges against me that had been dropped or had been ended due to lack of evidence. But they started refiling on all of them. Back to back. So every time I got a foothold in this child's case, another charge was re-brought back up. No new convictions, no new arrests, but old things that I had been arrested for years before this child was even thought of. And when they did that, I ended up having to take one of the charges and go to prison. So while I'm in prison, the mother still wasn't doing anything. The mother still wasn't doing anything at all. So they ended up adopting the child out. In California state law, it states that a criminal case cannot be the grounds for termination of parental rights. So then how are my parental rights, how are my parental rights taken away from me for being in prison? I studied the laws. When I was in prison, I studied it all. California state law prohibits you from taking a parent's parental rights due to criminal conviction. But what they told me was this: you've done 3 years in prison now. This child, the only family he knows is his foster family. No judge on earth would give him back to you because you're not in the best interest of the child. He doesn't know. They let me see my son one time before they took him away and adopted him.
Wow.
And I had nothing to do with
that you were an unfit parent because of old charges.
Right.
Now, I got a question for both. I got Amber coming back here. And bring her back on. Let's see how our connection is. Amber? Can you hear me?
I'm having technical difficulties. Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm
there
having
we go. I can hear you.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I'm here.
Now, okay, so Amber, let me ask you. So you were saying like this is like reliving your childhood all over again. Are you saying that you were snatched up by the state as well?
I can't hear. The static is causing problems.
Okay, I'm asking, were you also snatched up by the state?
Yes, I was snatched up because my parents were drug addicts at the time. So we got put into the system. Because of my past has become my future.
That's fucking crazy. Because it's this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna bring Lamar back on because I'm gonna say this to y'all real quick. Bring my man's back on real quick. I'm gonna put y'all on mute because I just want to say something to y'all real quick. I don't want you to become discouraged because of what happened in your past. It's like we live in a society where you're not allowed to change for the better. You know what I'm saying? And what you're telling me is the truth, then I'm seeing you guys have changed for the better. Just based off your story on what you're telling me. Just based off the reach out, the persistence of the reach out, to get the story out, to get the injustice. Like I'm hearing the system. I'm hearing we are in a system. I'm hearing that Lamar, the father is stating that he wasn't in the system, but he was in a similar situation. You know what I'm saying? As a child, this happened to his oldest, this child. Amber saying that this happened to her when she was a child, and now it's happening to her children. I don't want you guys to stop the fight in breaking the generational curses. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy, and it's not for the weak at heart. And keep your battle gear on. You may need to rest, but keep your battle gear on. Because we are under attack. The white supremacist is attacking us, and is attacking us in at the nucleus, and that is the black family. By you guys already being in the system, your information already in a database, your life already under the microscope, I believe that you're being targeted. I don't believe you're being targeted in the fact that they want to help, but they want to hinder. They want to human traffic your children into a system filled of bodies for dollars for people that don't really have a check and balance system, that are shuffling children around. I want you guys to continue to fight, but also want you guys to strategize and mobilize. I'm going to give you guys the floor. We're going to close this thing out. Give you guys your final words on what you guys want to say. I'm going to try to attempt here to go with Amber first, ladies first, and then we're going to go to Lamar. All right, Amber.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Any last words you want to say to the people?
Basically, my last word, I'm just hoping my story can get out, and the fact of the state constantly sitting there and trying to sabotage my life, I hope a new light can be shed on this, for the simple fact that the state has been trying to documentation that they have from the young lady that called the DCFS hotline. That is not who I as an individual. What's put on black and white is never the truth.
Right.
And I surpass the lies that have been brought against me as far as my children are concerned. I have come from a broken home, a broken family. I've been adopted. I've been emancipated. Yes, I have. But my past does not cultivate my future of me being a parent to my 3 children. It's not fair that my children have to suffer for the past that I didn't even start. I started from my parents, but my blessed by the state system that I was able to be part of my immediately, but now they're trying to cut control over their lives. And that's not fair to them, because the only person that knows the well-being of my children is viewers today understand and feel my pain and put me in the right position where I can fight this. So my voice is not sabotaged anymore for the sake of my, and I deserve to be heard. I deserve for my investigation to be actually investigated instead of what was put into play. I was never able to tell my side. It's 2 sides to every story, not just one. My day. That's all I opportunity to be a mother. That's all I have.
Thank you, Amber. Go ahead, Lamar. Hold on, let me take you off mute, bro.
I did it for 4 months without any comment.
Yeah, what I want to say to the people out there is this: be vigilant over your children. Be vigilant and watch what these people are doing behind closed doors. The distractions they give, all that. Watch it, because even to the people who've never been in this situation, you're only one anonymous phone call away from having it happen to you. So what you have to do is stay on your game and keep the fight up and get the word out there, because they're kidnapping our children and selling them for dollar profit. We were just so happy to be lucky enough that my mother was able to step in and grab our son. But at the same time, the first thing the caseworker mentioned, oh, you get a check, right? And my mother's like, I don't need a check for him. This is my grandchild. But no, they want to monetize this transaction that they're doing. Just so, now I have some money. It's slavery still. You're still selling black children at a profit, and disguising it with he's being neglected, but the state has clearly neglected him on their own. My son was released from the hospital knowing he had jaundice, apparently, without the proper treatment that he was supposed to gotten, just because they wanted to take him away from Miss Harper and me. So you took him away early before he got the proper things he needed to have before he could leave, just to usher him into a system? Who's really neglectful? So be careful out there, because they will use everything against you.
Like, how do you bring the charges up against them? Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, that's real. Oh, that's real. Both of y'all coming on. I appreciate y'all coming on and whatnot, guys. This is our sidebar conversation, man. So, like, this is about talking to our listeners. Miss Harper reached out to us, asked a story, and we're here to help in any way possible. So, if anybody out there in our listening audience has any resources or advice or a game plan, an actionable game plan for Ms. Harper and Brother Lamar here, that we can work together, because it does take a village. The village is under attack, guys. The village is under attack. And yes, there's going to be fights amongst the villagers. But when an outsider comes in and attacks the village, it is our duty to protect the. I am so, man, it's just what she said. She said it's like reliving my childhood all over again. So she knows that her children, she knows how her children feel being taken away from her. She knows how that feels. She identifies with her child. She does need to be in their life because that happened to her. She can coast them through that. Internet connection, but when we were talking earlier, she told me that with COVID-19, that they stopped her visits, but allowed the children to travel with the foster parents. They do not value us as parents. The system should be trying to do everything to assist Miss Harper in gaining custody back, working towards, hey, we're going to work your child back because you know that good families build great economics. Great economics build opportunities, which build healthy environments and happiness. That's how the state should be looking at it. But from what I'm hearing, this is what I think, because I am a conspiracy theorist at times. You know what I'm saying? Since they were already in the system, they try to dictate how their mind would play. So they try to deem them unfit because of trauma that happened to them in their past. And so that over their head in their future, which is outrageous. If she has classes, countless recommendations from other organizations, that what is the hurdle? If you come to her house previously, say that the home is equipped for both children, around and says that she's homeless, takes her child all within 2 days of being fresh out the womb. Now the child has jaundice, a disease in the care of the state. I charge the state with neglect. I charge the state with neglect. I charge the state for removing a new human being onto the planet away from its only source of comfort and survival less than a week from being here. That is not in the best interest of the child. But this is our sidebar conversation, guys. We wrap it up. Anybody else wanted to say anything? You guys drop it in the comments, or you guys can click on the link and come on live with us here. Let us continue to uplift one another. Let us continue to hear each other out. If you guys have a situation, anything that you guys want to talk about on our show, then go ahead and reach out to us. You can email us at the Great Conversation Let's Talk at gmail.com, or you can inbox us here at Great Conversation Let's Talk right here on Facebook, or leave us a message on our YouTube station as well. Don't forget to follow us on all your platforms, okay? All your podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. Where else are we at? We're on Stitcher. We're on iHeart. We're everywhere, man. Just type in the Great Conversation Podcast or put his name -X, okay? All right. Now, something else, we also taking donations, man. We're all about bringing you a better product all the time. So we are taking donations. You can get that. We got the Cash App now. I know y'all be seeing it up here. Okay, we got the Cash App. Go ahead and you hit us on the Cash App. Okay, bring that up. Boom, there it is. $ TGC podcast. Okay, go ahead. It's about bringing you guys a better product. Also, guys, check out exclusive on all platforms, guys. We got a new show exclusive just to all those platforms. It's called On the Mic. Okay, that's where we just turn on the mic and anything goes. There's no rules, no censoring, none of that politically correct. We just in the room with the homies and we just gonna let it rip. So you have to follow us on your podcast listening platforms. Okay. Also got a new show coming out on YouTube as well. Guys, be looking out for that. We're just about to pump out all the content. Now, guys, we usually come on Tuesdays at 10:15 a.m. or 10:15ish. I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, and let me tell you why I'm going to be away for 2 weeks. We are doing a reality show. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but we're filming a reality show, The Hot Girls Club. Okay, this is where girls are going to be living in a house, competing in competitions, different challenges and whatnot. And we're going to be recording that. We're going to be filming that within the next 2 weeks here. So I'll be gone for 2 weeks, guys. But when we come back, I guarantee you, I'll have some things to talk about. Okay. So I want to thank all our listeners. I want to thank us for coming today. Amber, Harper, and Lamar, man, I really appreciate both of you guys coming on and being vulnerable with us and showing and having a great conversation with us. Guys, you know what we like to say here at The Great Conversation? You don't always have to agree to have a great conversation. All right. So, guys. Oh, and Tom McLemore, we ain't forgot about you, baby. We'll be back to holler at you in 2 weeks.